Okay, July 18th. Several things today. I'm going to try and keep this short, but these are some pretty exciting things. Today in 1940, FDR was nominated for his third term. So it was unprecedented to have somebody run for a third term and win their party's nomination. However, also today in 1880, at the Republican convention, Ulysses S. Grant was running for a third term. He had served in 1868, 1872, had taken off and retired, and then come back in 1880, attempting to get the third nomination from his party. And he failed to do that. And so he and James Blaine were kind of locked horns at the convention. And after 34 votes, and can you imagine that today? I mean, since the 1968 election, I mean, the parties don't do that. They don't air the dirty laundry in public. So today it's largely decided by the time they get to the convention. Actually, it is decided by the time they get to the convention. But back then, they would literally go out and vote and vote and vote and vote until they could get a candidate that could get enough votes. So in 1880, after the 35th ballot, Benjamin Harrison and somebody from delegation from Wisconsin, I can't remember his name, Rusk, I think, threw in, moved some of the anti-Grant nominations over to James Garfield, a dark horse. And after that, it was a landslide. So everybody then moved over to Garfield. He was seen as a good third candidate between the other two. You know, if you can't vote for this person or that person, well, I can vote for Grant. And so, and the interesting thing about 1880 was Grant won the election for president. He also, at the same time, this has never happened before and never will again, he won his House seat re-election in the House in 1880. He was elected to the Senate by the Ohio legislature in 1880 and the presidency. So he's the only person in history to have been elected at the same time in the same year to all three branches. So that was interesting. And then the last thing that happened today in 1947, Harry Truman signed an executive order basically establishing the line of succession. Up until this time, we knew that if the president died or was incapacitated, the vice president became president. But after that, it was very unclear. There was no formal way of saying what the line of succession was until 1947. Of course, John Tyler, when he took over, when William Henry Harrison died in 1841, there was a big fight back then, big battle over what did it mean? What did the Constitution mean when the vice president becomes president? Some people felt that it was just temporary until they could hold a special election. John Tyler basically said, nope, I'm president. That's what the Constitution says. So in 1947, Harry Truman signed an executive order, which eventually became the 25th Amendment to the Constitution in 1967, basically saying, you know, president, vice president, Speaker of the House, President of the Senate, and it just goes down through the line of who is in line to be out president. So, sorry this was a little bit longer than usual, but good stuff going on. I'll see you tomorrow.